dream life and business in the next 90 days or less, just like I did using my Grow Yourself, Grow Your Business system without having to rely on websites, productivity hacks from your friends, podcasts, and pretty much every useless guru tactic that doesn't actually work. And this is just like I have done and how I've helped over 250 people over the last 2 to 3 years get life-changing results. So by the end of this video, you will have an exact roadmap to the things that you need to implement in order to master business confidence, 5x your productivity, and to be able to travel and work. Funky shirt is on. It's a Sunday vibe. I'm shooting this on a Sunday. I just felt like creating this video because I was like, yo, this is a vibe. So, hi, if you don't know who I am, I'm Luke Anning. I'm a badass business builder and I help ambitious entrepreneurs master business confidence, 5x their productivity so that they can truly have what they want to have. And just so you don't waste any time in this video, it's only really for people who want to grow a business or already have a 6-figure plus business that's impact driven and you want to get more time back and genuinely grow internally. So if you're somebody that is the type of person that likes to do the work, isn't scared to commit, ask questions, is coachable, doesn't make excuses, is ready to learn, and you want to make a big impact, we're all here for that, then stick around. If you're not a 6-figure plus earner or you want to sit around and wait until next year to figure out your confidence and your productivity, or you don't want to actually do the work to get where you want to get to, recommend that you just click off this video right now because I don't want to waste your time or unnecessarily upset you or trigger you. Recommend just go through my content, or if you really don't enjoy it, just unfollow me. So in terms of where you're at, why you're at, where you're at right now, you've probably tried business coaches, you've probably tried certifications, you might have even wrangled with ChatGPT and a few apps, and it went okay. But it didn't go exactly as you would have wanted, and that's totally okay because most people who watch my content, including myself, went through the exact same thing. And the reason why certifications and your average business coach don't work is because you're literally doing it by yourself. Business coaches might give you some tactics, but they're not going to get in the nitty-gritty internal work with you. And most people who haven't built a business, to do this, what I'm going to teach you right now. They're teaching you from a textbook, not from experience. So thinking that growing the lifestyle that you want is so much further away, and building your confidence and mastering your productivity is like months away, and you're probably thinking that you have to add a load of things or give up some of your passions. But to be honest, most people, including myself when I first got started, do as well. So before we dive straight into the value, I just want to assure you that you can actually build the lifestyle and business of your dreams, master your confidence, 5x, even 10x your productivity without having to deal with any of that. And here's why. So when I started my first business, which was a fitness and mindset coaching business, I was really struggling. First 4 months was just hustling. Wasn't really growing, wasn't really doing much. I invested in a coach and that was great. We hit the glorified 10K a month, which is where some of you likely are at now. But for the next 6 months, I was just hustling. I was just hustling. I would hustle for the next year, and I got a few business coaches along the road and they helped me massively. But it all changed when I changed my identity around my self-confidence and around my time management, around my productivity. And when I changed that, I recognized that I didn't actually need to work endless amounts of hours anymore. I could actually do everything that I was doing everything that I was doing at a fifth of the time. So when I went to Iceland, I was traveling. I was like, right, I'm going to do this big commitment after hustling for so long. I was like, I want to go for this lifetime experience. I want to go travel. That was what I wanted to do with my freedom. And I was like, I'm only going to work 20 hours for this time. I'm not working anymore. And that forced me to only do the 20% actions that get me 80% of the results. And what's crazy about that was one of my highest income months of that year. It was a 23.5K month. And I was like, oh, that's wild. That's interesting. But instead, continue to do this up and down roller coaster of figuring out my productivity, figuring out what I was doing. But as I kept growing, I recognized that so much of the things that we do as entrepreneurs, it's just this mess to cover up this internal feeling of not feeling enough. And this is what I've noticed with so many of my clients. So many of my clients have experienced the same thing, and I wanted to show you guys some of these things. So this is Stephanie. When she came on board, she had no confidence whatsoever in her business. She'd come through a certification, had come through a little group program type thing, but wasn't getting the support that she needed. So she came on board. She recognized that her services were actually extremely valuable. So we doubled her prices. We doubled her prices again. And she went on to make 10K a month pretty easily from zero. This is Jeannie. Had no self-confidence whatsoever in her business. Within the first 2 weeks, signed clients at $3,500. This is Chris. When Chris came on board, he came on board for mastering his business confidence. And before that, he'd invested in a organic sort of guru. And that meant that he didn't have any predictability and consistency within growing his plan around his consulting business, around his coaching business. He had this hybrid kind of thing. So what we did is we went into his business. We worked out where he was lacking his confidence, where we needed to show up a little bit more. And then he was getting 20K clients, just like that. Ollie was one of my last life coaching clients before I went into business consulting, which I'm doing now. And he came through, was super high, full of anxiety, didn't think that he'd be able to build a business on top of his physiotherapy, but he doubled his physiotherapy income, and that was just by growing himself. Just by growing himself, he doubled his income. Can you imagine if you just focused on growing yourself, and by growing yourself you were able to double your income? What would that genuinely do for you? And then on top of that, he started his own physiotherapy coaching business just as a little trial. Made $3,000 in his first week, 4 calls booked. So super rapid stuff. And this is Shadi. Shadi came on board having no business confidence, no business processes in place, no marketing process, no sales processes, nothing. But she'd made 10x ROI on her investment. She just closing people purely by growing herself and growing her business. Each and every week, it was such a joy seeing everything, just seeing her energy light up every single week is one of those moments as somebody that guides and helps others that we do it for, right? As entrepreneurs, we do it for actually genuinely the actual service that we put out is just it hitting that next level frequency is just game changing. So I wanted to assure you guys that this has happened before. We've had Ellie, who came on board, had a top 1% Etsy business. She wanted to start a coaching business. She signed 6 clients, and then we reprioritized for her productivity and because she wanted to move to Florida, and then quadrupled her monthly income. So she went from $3,500 a month in her side business, as well as the full-time thing that she was doing, as well as the coaching, and then she just catapulted into 12K months. Last time I heard, delegated a lot more time back to herself, and having a really great time with her husband and growing her life. So that's what we do, which is cool. So if you're watching this video, you're likely in one or two categories, unless you ignored me at the start, and in that case you're not fitting in this. When most people start their business, they are lost, they're confused, they have massive uncertainty, zero online following, they're unsure what to do, they're looking for maybe a super fast exit from the 9 to 5. They're just starting out, maybe no offer, no ideal client, no niche. They're working in the business. Maybe they're doing lots of organic Facebook and cold outreach. It's just endless DMs. Like, if you're an entrepreneur here and you have worked online on the social media space, you'll know it can get a little hectic when you're starting, right? Trying to figure out what strategy is working for you, what's working well for you. And I can help you. Like, if you're at this stage, like, I can help you, but just saying, we can move a lot faster if you're at this grow stage. So if you're at this grow stage, you're likely already posting content. You've got people in your audience, you have an offer, you're spending weeks in the DMs. And I'm talking super tactical, high level here, because you're just going to be able to identify where you're at and where you're not. But you've been in the industry for at least 3 months. You've got niche, ideal client, offer, but you're a bit overwhelmed with all of the strategy, which is probably crushing your confidence, which, I mean, no wonder, because there's so many different things and it's like, what do I do? What actually works for me, right? The likelihood that you're doing everything by yourself is probably pretty high. Maybe you have an editor, but you're still in the business most of the time. There's a lack of structure internally and externally. So I'm not just talking in the business, but I'm talking in your life as well, which means that all your time's getting taken up. Maybe at the weekends, maybe you're still cooking all your food. Maybe you don't have a regular routine. You've probably got some toxic habits going on. And your time's just taken up and you're still caught in this hustling up and down months. And I get it. Like, I've been you. And I think this is a key point that most people don't put out, but you're kind of working weekly, maybe monthly. But what I mean by that is you're working week to week. Whereas when you're at like the mastery stage, you're working quarterly. You're working on like quarterly based action plans. That way it's simply just like, this is the goal. This is what we're working towards. No shiny object syndrome. This is what we're doing, right? That's the total difference here. So if you're up here, you're making 10 to 50K a month, except you have more time for yourself. You've built your ideal self. You're attracting clients. You've got full scope of your system. So you know, from X, I'm going to go to Y, I'm going to go to Z. There's no questionability. You've got productivity in that system. It's just one efficient flow. You're implementing feedback loops for improvement. You're working on the business. You're doing deep work. You're factoring in time for yourself. You're building out wealth, which is key. And something that I forgot to put in here, but you're likely not doing everything yourself. Like, you could step away from the business. Like, when I was at the Tony Robbins event back in August, it was just such a dream. Like, I could just step back and two of my team members were taking the lead on everything because I hired them, because we did such a robust hiring process, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, that they were just able to take charge without me there. And Loki, like, they probably could have run the business better than me. Like, if like at that time, just at that certain period in my life when I was transitioning from travel and I was at the Tony Robbins event, and I really only had about half an hour to 1 hour touch point in my business a day. Like, they were crushing it. We were booking sales calls, no issue. And we were getting marketing out. Like, all the systems were there. So, like, this is probably where you want to be. Like, you're like, I want my business to be able to run without me. And that's what I want to talk about today. So likelihood is you are here. You're here at A. And these are going to be the things that I've mastered. And in order for you to grow, you're going to want to master these as well. So the first one is building neuro identity. So within this, what you need to have is you need to get bulletproof discipline put in place. Like, if you're still picking up your phone regularly, if you're chasing little dopamine hits, if you're still getting shiny object syndrome and you're like, I want to do a podcast, I want to do retreats, I want to do this, I want to do that, there's going to be a problem. We need some streamlining here. You can still do all these other things, but we need some discipline on what you're doing. Because if you don't have discipline, you're back in that day to day. You're literally bouncing between the start version of yourself and the grow version of yourself. So no wonder you keep, like, you think that you've got something locked in for mastery, but you keep bouncing back between these two all the time, which is stressful. So then on top of that, we need to have a North Star vision. Like I said, when you're working quarterly, if you're working quarterly, then it means that you're working towards a bigger picture. I was reading something about Jeff Bezos the other day that an executive came up to him about his quarterly earnings, like the quarterly review, and he was just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, like, because he's just building so much like further ahead than just quarterly. You're still being present, not letting go of that, but you need a North Star vision, a big vision of where you're getting to. The next thing that you need is money mindset and wealth management. I think this goes without saying, but when you're having your money come in, you just need to have accountability of where it's going, what it's doing, because otherwise you're just dropping into roller coaster months. And then success habits. Success habits are so key. I'm not talking about like just a morning routine or evening routine. And like those things work, but like sometimes people do like morning routines for like 2 hours. I was like, when I was in Iceland, I was like, there's no way in hell I'm doing a 2-hour morning routine. I'm just going to do this for like 15 minutes. And that 15-minute routine was just boom, best, easiest thing that I've ever done. We also need to make sure that you have CEO standards. So CEO standards don't just stand for you, but they stand for your clients. They stand for everything that you do. It's a level of integrity that likely you're not fully embodying right now, which means that when you're coming across in your marketing, you're coming across in your sales, people don't see you as competent and confident. They just think, oh, like, it's just so-and-so, it's just my friend. Oh, it's just that person I know, right? They don't see you as an authority. So this is why we've got to have CEO standards. So less than 2 minute 369 manifestation method. When I learned about manifestation and as I was going through this process, so backstory, I built my first 6 figures just on pure hustle. As you probably did as well. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. So I knew that there needed to be some inner work go on. But whenever I was going across on social media, and I was even talking to somebody the other day as well, she was saying that her coach or her old coach said that if she didn't do 4 hours of meditation a day and do a silent retreat every year, then she wouldn't be successful in business. And I was like, what a load of bollocks. So it's just a mess. Now we've actually adjusted this, so apologies for the naming, but I'm gonna just tweak this for you guys. Apologies. I literally did this morning, so apologies. We're doing this for fun. So time, energy, and attention management for growing entrepreneurs. I cannot tell you how often I see people mess this up. They think, oh, what? Okay, so I'm just going to focus on the important things this week, or oh, okay, I just need to like be more wary, or I just need to have some more boundaries. But it's so much bigger than that. It's so much bigger than that. Like people always have this association that I'm hustling all the time. It's like could not be further from the truth. It's just because so much is getting done, but I'm doing it so little time. Like honestly, like I'm chilling. Like I'm either planning my next travel trip, or speaking to my partner, or I'm doing the things that I love. Like I still have 2 45-minute workout sessions a day. I go for another walk a day. I'm able to spend time with my partner, spend time with family, spend time with friends. Like I'm able to do everything that I want to do because I've got my time, energy, attention management locked in. I lock it in with bulletproof discipline. And because I know the North Star that I'm working towards and have success habits, it all ties in. So that's the first pillar. That's why it's so key. And then second is building a world-class offer. Now, you might think, oh, I already know what I'm doing. I already know my service. And like, hey, I hear you. I hear you. But at the same time, I also bet that there's some people that you're working with right now that aren't 100% of your ideal client. And you know who it is already. You probably already know who it is. And that's okay. And that's because we haven't fully got our magnetic marketing message down. So all of these work together. It includes naming your offer and your services and making sure that we've dialed that in. It includes having pre-priming decks so that people know if this is for them or it's not for them. Like at the start of this video, I literally told you if this doesn't align with you, then you shouldn't be on this video. If you don't have that, you're going to be working with people that drain your energy, that literally sap up your confidence, that sap up your productivity. You're seeing how these things start to piece together. And it's also showing up for yourself. Like, I feel like showing up for yourself is just, I've placed this in here because if we do it all in the first thing, like, it gets overwhelming. But whilst I was building a world-class offer, showing up for myself is one of the biggest offers that you can actually have. Because imagine if you show up as your best version of yourself, habits, routines, etc., then you're your most attractive, abundant self. Like, people just want more of you. Like, you know it. Like, you know, when you're just at like a high frequency, people are like, I want more of this person. So that's what you got to do. You've got to dial in your best version of yourself. So once you've done that, we're really into the key components of business confidence, which is mapping out a customer journey. I didn't do this for the first 2 years, and I can't believe my first business coaches didn't do this, but my first first four business coaches did not do this. And when I learned about it, I was like, why are we not being taught this? I was like, why? So mapping out your customer journey is literally knowing exactly how a customer goes from a complete stranger to a long-term buyer. Like, if you know that exact process step by step, you're able to place in the systems that allow for a smooth, predictable, consistent flow of clients. And then once you do that, you can just feedback loop your activities. So what I mean by that is testing a new part of a particular strategy, confidently knowing that, hey, if this doesn't work, I know exactly what I'm going to replace it with. Then it's doing the advanced inner work to accompany that, because a lot of you, if you're still in that day-to-day, week-to-week mentality at the start, the process of growth just doesn't work. Like, it does not work. So after that, this is something that we included is, oh, my mistake, guys, is follower ads. So I'm going to talk about this in a little bit of context in the IGAI growth system. But if you want to grow your social media page, if you want to grow your brand, if you want to be showcased as an authority in your niche so that you're confident that you're going to have leads there, you're going to be able to have a business running, you're going to be able to place in a team that are going to be able to cover everything that's important in the business for the business to run, you need to have some follower ads up. And I'll show you why that's important in a second. And as well as that, just systematizing lead generation and having systems for productivity. And this kind of goes without saying, but I feel like this often gets missed off in the industry, is that people always talk about doing the 80-20, but oftentimes they're really not analyzing what those 80-20 activities are. So what I mean by 80-20 is those 20% actions that get you 80% of the results. So, for example, like, our systems for lead generation cost us anywhere from from 10 to about 60 cents a lead. So like 20 to, so around like 50, so around like 8p to 70 pence, like UK, right? I can't even be talking about pence. I haven't talked about pence in years, but that's how much it costs us roughly to get a new follower, a new lead into our system. So if you're unsure of like what your cost per lead is already, that's, well, we can see why we're here, right? And that's okay. Like, of course you weren't taught this, which is why we're here. And just on a subset of that, like systems for productivity, like my podcast is so systematized at the moment. It's crazy. Like, I literally just hit film and then team does the rest. Because I know so many people that are just editing, doing the rest of it, like doing all the media and everything like themselves whilst trying to grow their 6-figure business. And it's like, yo, it's stressful. You need to leverage things off. So I'm going to talk about the importance of the IG AI growth system and how it might be relevant to you. So how most people in the industry do it is they do a little bit of mindset work. For their lead generation, they might do a little bit of in-person. They might do a little bit of Facebook groups. They might do a little bit of liking and commenting on profiles. They might be getting $15 a lead. They might be putting out some good content, but and then you might close 1 in 5 people, and that's cool. But you might also be doing like offer by the hour. You might have 6, 7 different offers, which is crazy. And then maybe you charge $1,000 for 6 months on average, for your lifetime value, for the overall time that your customer is going to be with you or client is going to be with you. And that sounds like a roller coaster mess. And it's maybe why we're here today, and that's okay, right? Whereas what we do, what I generally consult people to do, is have an AI lead generator. So anywhere on average about $0 to $25 a lead. IG follower ad, which could be anywhere from $1 to $4. We've seen it as high as 10, but usually once you get your positioning and magnetic marketing message aligned, you're good. And then content that actually converts. So not just posting content for the sake of posting content. And then once you're at a certain position, like most of you are at 10K a month, so most of you should just have an onboarder setter like right now. But you obviously need to know how to get a good one, not just try out a few Instagram stories or just ask your friends. Like you might get okay results with that, but like you don't want to just try and be super cheap with this, and you want to know exactly what type of person to get. You might book a call, pre-call prime, close 1 and 2, and then you want to have a world-class offer based on somebody's transformation. So you might charge $6,000 for 6 months. You might charge $6,000 a month for 6 months. Like, you really got to make sure we get that pricing model down so that you're able to grow predictably, consistently, scale, and master your confidence within your business. So I'm going to talk about the sales aspect of this, because sales aspect, you might not think this ties back to mastering your confidence, but it definitely does. Sales is probably the thing that I've invested in the most in my journey. And the reason being, because if you have sales skills, you can literally do anything in this world. Like, I don't want to say it, but if your business did crash and burn, and the game plan is you're watching this, so it won't. But if it did, because you have sales skills, you'd be able to jump into another 6-figure job and just make back the money so quickly. But if you don't have that, then it's a mess. And it's the same with if you don't have sales systems in your business, spelt with an M, then of course, like, things are going to fall apart, right? Like, if we don't have a system for taking somebody in our marketing process through the sales process, then obviously, like, we're going to feel pretty unconfident. And then you're probably going to spend a ton of time chasing leads. You maybe don't have your pre-call priming set. You don't have post-call alignment. You don't have your tonality and your mindset right on calls. Like, if I said to you guys, you don't have your tonality and your mindset, like, that's pretty dead. But you don't have your tonality and your mindset. Simple, right? Simple change, but it makes a lot of difference. And then this is from a really good friend. He's closed over, I think, over 4 million in high ticket sales now. But he instructed me on this closing cure to cancer method. So if you're in a business where you close online sales and you're not using this method, oh my gosh, it's just unfair. It's genuinely unfair. And the reason why is because imagine if you had the cure to cancer. People would be paying you money like it's going out of fashion, people, right? People would just be like, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. But the problem is most of you have a nice to have kind of offer and a nice to have kind of service rather than a need to have service. So what this does is it positions you as a need to have. We tie that in with a magnetic marketing message, and then we're able to close at 50%. Now, I also give people a 50% closer framework when I do this, and this is kind of a framework that I've taken from some of my top performing mentors, so Cole Gordon, Rob Dial, Marcus Chan, Arden Schillen, Natasha Storm, and then developed into my own ethical way, because some of those people love them, but some of it is pretty pushy. And I know if you're here on an impact driven business, like, you're not the type of person that wants to be super pushy. So we've got that, and we've got the helper objection method, which is really just a really easy way to know exactly how to frame objections. So helper stands for H, which is hear, E is empathize, L is leverage, P is perspective shift, E is explain, and R is respond. So all of that has its little nuances. May potentially do another training on that. And then really it's getting back your time. So in some form of way, we want to have somebody setting appointments for you. So if you're doing a service-based business that takes appointments in order for sales, then this is going to be key for you, right? If it's not, then likely we need another team member to take some of the operations off of you. So it's either a setter or it's operations. It's either one. And once we have that, we have key performance indicators. We have leadership and management. Like, can you imagine leading a team? Can you imagine having a team without any leadership? Not great. So that's why that's key to going. We have your scaling principles to make sure that we get your time back. We implement training portals, not only for you, but you want to have training portals for your team, so that way they can operate without you. And key thing here is releasing low leverage tasks. Like, if you're not releasing low leverage tasks and you're still doing things like, or editing content or updating your social media, like, that needs to be somebody else. So if you want to enhance your productivity, that's got to be somebody else. And then also hiring funnels for the best talent, because if you're the only one, if you're not using hiring funnels, then you're going to attract a little bit low level task people, right? You'll probably know people that got headhunted by a certain position when you're at school. Like, maybe somebody got really good grades and they got headhunted by an agency, or headhunted by a certain person, a certain recruiter or a certain executive. And this is because they have hiring funnels. They want to get the best talent. And it's the same for you. If you're going to grow a 6-7 figure business, or if you're going to actually get your time back, you need to trust that the person in that role can actually do the job that you want. You don't want to just be chasing people all the time, or having to review things all the time. Sure, there might be a little bit of reviewing at the start, but you don't want to get in a complete newbie. You can do if like that's in your interest and you have the time to train people and you want to do that, cool. But if you don't, you need to make sure that you get great talent in, and that's how you get to be. And you know, the crazy thing about all of this is you probably think that you suck at business sometimes. You probably think that, oh, like, this just isn't for me, and maybe I should pivot, or maybe I should do something else. But all you've got to do is grow your confidence and enhance your productivity, and implement a few systems for yourself and for your business. Like, it's crazy. Like, literally one of our clients didn't, she's been working like a side job as well, but she has been in the coaching space for 2 years and hasn't booked a sales call for the last 2 years. And I was like, are you showing up for yourself? Are you exercising? And she was like, no. And I was like, okay, cool. So maybe we do that. And then that first week that she did it, she booked 2 client calls, signed 2 clients. And this is what amazes me about the industry is so many people are pushing tactics. You'll see so many agencies, so many gurus, so many certifications, like pushing all these like tactics for people. But oftentimes, and what I find 99% of the time, is you've just got to grow yourself. And then the rest gets implemented. Like, this is all just habits. These are all just habits. Like, that's the crazy thing. Like, people think that all these other things are tactics, but genuinely, like, this is just habits. So if you are a highly ambitious entrepreneur and you work online and you're stuck, and you want to have more time back, you want to master your confidence, you want to 5x your productivity without having to waste more time on certifications, waste time with agencies, waste time with business coaches that are basically your therapists, then go ahead, book a call down below, and we'll go over where you're at right now, where you want to go, and if we're a good fit for each other, we can get started. Again though, this is only for an ambitious entrepreneur who wants to master their confidence. You want to travel, you want to get more time back, and if you're not that, then just go watch more of my content and get some more value before booking in, so we can get straight to it. Like, genuinely, like, if you're satisfied in a 9 to 5 for another year, or you want to keep picking up side jobs, or you want to keep chasing shiny objects, or you want to keep delaying the time to do everything that you want to do, then just go watch the rest of my content. Or as a fact of that, if you're somebody who says, oh, I'll just wait until I'm ready, or I'll just sign a few more clients and then I'll do this, like, that's exactly why you're at where you're at right now. How are you going to sign more clients when you've got no time for yourself? How are you going to sign more clients if you never show up for yourself? Like, there's a give and a receive here. Right now, you're just giving. There's no space for receiving. So you've got to do something different. So again, if you never want to have to worry about building a business that works on your time, you want to build structure, you want to scale a business built on servitude and give you the lifestyle that you want, just like Chris, just like how my client Kim went from having zero marketing and sales process to adding an extra 10K a month recurring revenue, bringing in her husband's friends to help facilitate her growth and change her dream clients' lives in just kind of 40 days. As well as not give up time on the weekends so that she could still run her DJ business on top of that, then link is down below and I look forward to seeing you there. But otherwise, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you have the best day of your life, and I'll catch